you'll definitely dig Dead Letter Circus. So I guess I'll start off. You said this is your 4th time touring in the country?
Yep.
So what's your experience like in America compared to like the perception of America from overseas?
I'd say a lot of people think that Americans are, sort of these war-hungry, arrogant, cheese-eating kind of people, but in reality, everyone's pretty fucking nice. Like, I think it's actually quite an advanced spiritual country when you actually get them into people. So, yeah, we always tell people when we go home, so America's not what you see on TV, it's more of a, in some aspects it's so far ahead of where Australia's at, particularly with some of the eating as well, there's a lot of, good food, vegan stuff.
So a good way to sum that up would be that the actions of our government aren't very representative of us, the people.
Fuck no. But the thing is, like, if you're an awake and aware citizen of the universe or the world, you're pretty aware that the American government is at the heart of a lot of what's wrong, or the people that are using the American government as their tool, being the corporations behind it. So.
I'm glad you kind of took us right to that. I read in an interview that your first album, This Is the Warning, which is a pretty interestingly named album to start off, but I read it in an interview that you said that This Is a Warning is basically your navigating through your feelings as you became an awakened individual to what was going on in the world and things like that. Can you just kind of give us kind of expand on that?
In relation to the new album?
Well, starting with This Is the Warning, and we'll definitely be plugging.
This is what it was like, sort of suddenly becoming awake, I guess, and the emotions that are involved, and opening your eyes to the true way that the world is, and that was that album. Then fast forward to the future now, like 3 years in the future, everyone is generally awake to the true happenings and mechanics of what's actually going on, and no one trusts the government. Everyone knows it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
what's going on, but what people are sort of trapped with is this sense of helplessness where they're going, now I'm awake, what can I possibly do? I'm just me, I'm just this one entity. But what I sort of try to convey through the album is the fact that we're not actually separate. It's actually an illusion that we're separate from each other, and it's basically, the people that have, over the past, just the media coverage of the last, media domination, the last 50, 60 years, they've done a very good job of making everyone really cellular and separate from each other, where in fact, it's only a very small few that actually control the many. As you're seeing all over the world, like in some of those more volatile countries where people actually get out in the streets and fucking put their life on the line or raise a fist in the air or fucking light a Molotov cocktail, people are actually overthrowing the governments and revolting against the system that's sort of going wrong.
So what do you think makes America different? Because I personally am very active. I hate to call it politically because I hate even engaging in the political system, but I try to engage people on this kind of level and get people to think and get people to become aware. And I've organized a lot of different rallies, and a lot of times you don't see the kind of attention or the kind of people coming out that you would like to see. What do you think separates America from say Greece, where they're getting out, or Egypt, where that was like the largest amount of people ever going out against the government at once?
I reckon you guys are near the heart, so you guys are where it began, where capitalism went wrong, and you guys are the most distracted. You've got the celebrity distraction from what's actually going on. The things people are more concerned about Miley Cyrus twerking than they are about, fucking interest rates going up and that kind of thing. But it's you guys you're at the core of where it begins. This is where the nucleus is. So I'd say. It's just, you guys might be the last ones to fully stand up and overthrow it, but if you were the first ones, you'd probably save the world.
I think so, and I think the reason that you see that trend is because of, now, did I hear you say that we're at the heart of capitalism?
Yeah.
Okay, with the dollar being the reserve currency and tied to oil, other countries, their standard of living goes down as they have to trade more of whatever currency they're trading to make up for that lost value because they have a weaker currency than the dollar. But I would ask if you, you say, so do you feel that capitalism has caused this issue?
I guess the system that it was an open-ended system where when the very rich got to the stage where they could be very rich, and obviously I can't remember the dates or the presidents, but when your Bill of Rights and everything was changed to the point where everything could be privatised, and the Federal Reserve came into existence. Pretty much that's the point in history. Everything started going really wrong for everyone.
Just as a concept though, when you have the former head of Goldman Sachs becoming the head of the Treasury.
Yeah.
When you have the former head of Monsanto becoming the head of the FDA, and all these revolving doors, is that really capitalism, or is that more indicative of fascism?
Oh, I'd probably say both, man. Yeah.
Because capitalism, to me, is emphasis on private property and the free market.
I guess the concept of where capitalism began was probably kind of a beautiful thing, because it rewarded the go-getter and that kind of thing. But yeah, fascism.
So,
is that a gunshot?
I hope not. That was a weird. That was a pretty ghetto gunshot.
Yeah. Homemade fucking potato gap.
So what are some of the issues that you tackle in this new album, the Catalyst Fire? And feel free to plug where people can get it.
Pretty much what I said before, just that trying to my discovery of what the first step that the average person can do. Like what could me or you do that, and it's that just dissolving the fact that the illusion that we're separate, becoming more of a community. Like 20 years ago, you would know all the neighbours 5 houses on either side of you, know the names of all the kids. You'd need to be like a very community based. So if someone needed some help, if you heard of yelling out the front lawn, you'd run out straight away just to go and help your brother. But nowadays people probably lock their doors.
So we've really become alienated from each other.
Yeah. Cellular.
I definitely agree, and I definitely agree that obviously we're all connected and that we're all the same human family and everything like that. So I mean, what do you think are some of the things that have alienated us from our nature and our connection to the earth and connection to each other?
The media and television. That'd have to be the main reason.
So
it's just the information we're fed. Because it's a science. It's like it can make you want to buy things. It can make you want to be competitive. That can make you want to be suspicious. And, if I had to point my finger at one thing, it'd be controlled media.
So then the application of the internet then becomes very, very, very important. So I mean, what do you think the role of alternative media? Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Prison Planet or InfoWars or
That's what we watch.
What's that?
That's what we watch in the van.
That's what you guys watch?
TruthTheory.com.
That's awesome. What website did you say?
TruthTheory.com.
TruthTheory.com. Yeah. So what do you think the role is of us? And I don't know if you heard a story. This broke recently. I feel very proud of this huge story. CNN is actually packing it in. They're done with news. They're done with news. Their ratings are so bad that they're done with news.
All right. Wow. So the question was actually, what's our role in it?
Yeah, so what's the role of the alternative media as well as...
We're signposts. We're little beacons of personally I've thought about what my role is and what, if you're an alternative band, for example, a musician that wants to speak about this kind of thing, literally to be a little signpost or a beacon to cause people to think.
Exactly.
Or to simply look in a direction that isn't like at your handheld device, mesmerise, or your TV or your newspaper or, and just to encourage people to think how they used to think.
To raise consciousness.
Yeah, basically.
And you mentioned like an alternative band. I was going to go there next as far as, we have this just mindless dribble for music, and all of our stars are just, I don't even know what to call it. They're just drones, basically. You don't have your Muhammad Ali's and your John Lennons who had an outspoken message anymore, and people were getting behind them and getting out because of it. So I would argue that you're playing a very important role, and I thank you for that.
We've got Russell Brand. He's stepping up.
Yeah, I mean you have a few. Russell Brand is one. Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, he's very outspoken. There's others. Immortal Technique, he's great. But yeah, so it's a very important role. So what are some of the, aside from like the media manipulation and just the manipulation of our conscious from big companies owning all of the television stations, basically. What are some other truths? You said you were a fan of InfoWars, so how do you feel about like, I guess people call them theories, but like false flags and things like that?
An example?
Well, for example, like 9/11.
Oh, man, there's not a second from the moment I saw it on our TV that I never for a second thought it was a proper terrorist attack. It was not. It just was so obvious. I'd love to forecast. I'd love to leap into the future in 20 years to a point where, like, is anything ever going to be done about it on a criminal front? I don't think it will. But
Yeah, I mean, you see these attempts, but obviously the status quo, the foot soldiers, they all defend the system. So it's really unfortunate. So, all right, man. Well, I really appreciate your time. I mean, this was all impromptu on the fly, so I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
That's it, man. I think with false flags, once you are really awake and aware to them, they don't even really register. They're just more of like an amusement when they pop up. You just go,
yeah. At this point, I think people are becoming so conscious that it's backfiring. And with the relevance, I noticed it particularly with Sandy Hook on. Now, whether it's provable that that was a quote-unquote conspiracy or not, at least people are asking the questions. From Sandy Hook on, the counter-narrative is being written and being shown right along the official story, and I find that very exciting. But again, I don't want to take up all your time. So in closing, where can people listen to Dead Letter Circus or buy your album?
On the interweb.
iTunes.
Yeah, everywhere, man.
Just Google Dead Letter Circus, and this tour is personal. It's going to be going on for a while. If it's in a city near you guys, make sure you hit it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.